If you really want to scare your family and or partner, just casually mention around them that, maybe you're considering a few covered calls on some blue chip stocks. Nothing crazy, like maybe 2, 3 days out of the money. You've been reading Wall Street Bets and you really think you've got a hang of it now. I'm Spike.
That was just nonsense that you said, Spike. I don't understand any of it. I'm Kel.
I also didn't understand a word of what you just said. I'm
Like
Amanda.
if I had a spouse who said that stuff to me, I wouldn't know what they're talking about. So I wouldn't be tremendously concerned. I would just be confused.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I am going to basically admit to a couple of things here. I have a Robinhood account. I think that's probably not unusual these days. And I also really, 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 really enjoy finance YouTube for both sincere and unironic reasons. And I have been making the circuit pretty regularly. And the circuit has circled back around to, so, Wall Street Bets, huh? As it usually does. Because some of my favorite finance videos ever are videos that are about people who absolutely have no business trading options. Like people who know about as much about it as you two do. Trading options. And hello everyone. Hi Alan Lord. Hi Daryl. Hi Bird Wizard. Hi Pencil Ears. Hi Net Fisher. Hi Plot. Thank you for coming.
Hello. This
It's
episode's
just
called Too Eepy because I'm far too eepy to
too
function.
eepy. Too eepy. And before I continue with my gab, everybody, this is Amanda's final geek show before an extended hiatus.
I might come back.
So
I might not. Depends how I'm feeling about it.
yeah, it's about vibes. We're gonna go by vibes.
Yeah.
So everyone has to be very, very nice to Amanda today.
People are
Nicer
usually
than
very nice
usual,
to
even.
me.
Usually nicer than usual, even.
People are
But yeah,
usually very nice to me.
the
just saying.
challenge is that Amanda has to be nice to Amanda.
And yeah, that's the
I've been
final boss. The final boss
hey,
is you.
I've been very good to myself lately, actually.
Mhm.
Actually, if you paid attention
Actually,
to me, you know I'm
oh, I am.
doing quite well.
I do
All things
know. I
considered.
am paying attention.
I'm very tired though.
That's okay.
As I was telling Kel before Spike joined, I was doing car repairs on the side of the highway in the rain today, so I have no fuel in my tank right now.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, everyone's, we'll miss you, Amanda. We love you, Amanda. Hi, Miss Elsbeer. Hi, Michael Rebug. Thank you for coming, everyone. I'm all zoomed in on underwear right now. But yeah. But before we get too far on another topic, I want to explain this is my favorite tool for explaining this concept to people. And I think Kel may have already heard it, but I know a lot of folks in here have not. Um
Underwear?
no, not underwear, although
Oh.
I do greatly enjoy underwear. No, not underwear. Um so when people are like, what the fuck is an option?
Oh
Like
my
what the
god, my
fuck is
hair's
trading
still
options?
wet.
Here is what options are. Imagine you're going to college for a year. You'll be back after your year at college. And before you leave, your dad gives you his iPhone. And he says, I expect that iPhone back, that exact make and model of iPhone back when you come back at the end of the year. And you're like, cool. So you take it with you. But you know, because you watch the news and your dad doesn't, that this year iPhone will be releasing a new model, which means the model that he gave you by the end of the year, you're reasonably sure it'll be worth less than it is right now. So what you do is the minute you get to campus, you sell that iPhone while it's still the current model and you get full price for it. Between then and you going home, you were right. Your guess was correct. The new iPhone model dropped and that iPhone that you sold, you bought an exact replica back for half what you got for it. And when you go home, you give your dad back his iPhone, the exact make and model he sent you off to college with, and you keep the difference in the price. That is basically what options trading is. It's betting that a price is going to go in one direction or another.
I
That's
don't think
all it
that
is.
works with iPhones.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's what options trading is. And the thing that people have a hard time kind of like getting their head around is the concepts of calls and puts. Think of it in terms of
I'll put
the
your call.
military. Yeah, they call you up to put you down. So they call you out to send you to war, they call you up to put you down. That is what the difference between calls and puts is. You buy calls if you think the
Come
stock
on,
is
meow
going
meow.
to go up. You buy puts if you think the stock is going to go down.
Lay down, cat. She still does
And
that thing where
I
it's like she
understand
joins
this
me
is
for
like
two
the opposite of
seconds.
interesting for most people, but it fascinates the shit out of me.
Are you a good baby?
It's
So
math.
what Spike is telling you is that
You should spend all your money.
she's a boring person.
I'm a
And
boring person.
We're
It's
allowed. We're
okay.
allowed to be boring.
We're
We've
all
earned
boring.
it.
Free. We're boring.
We've earned the right
But
to
yeah,
be boring.
in case you want to know what I think is fun, everyone here is aware of the GME short squeeze. And perhaps if you are aware of that, you are aware it somehow kind of maybe sort of tangentially involved a dude who went around calling himself either Deep Fucking Value or Roaring Kitty, depending on where he was. He had to testify before Congress. He was not part of some kind of pump and dump scheme. Yeah, his videos are still up. You can go and watch Roaring Kitty's videos on YouTube where he talks about why he decided to invest in GME before the short squeeze in the first place, and they're pretty fascinating.
Isn't
Like
that the same guy
his
who
whole methodology.
like bounced from the scene and people still think he's like sending them cryptid messages?
Yes, and
yeah,
that's how you know he's smart. That's how you know he's
since he
fucking
left.
smart
Yeah.
because he looked around, he saw what was happening, and he was like, "Oh no." He immediately left. He immediately left. He is mentioned in I think it's Line Goes Up is what he's mentioned
He's been in a few things. There's
in a few things, yeah. He is in
oh
the wind right now. He is I'm sure he's got an account somewhere where he doesn't
I
use his name.
follow I
I'm
follow
positive, but
another YouTuber who mostly covers like cryptocurrency and crypto games called John.
mhm. Mhm.
JAUWN.
Yeah, I love John.
Yes, and I think
John
he
is
did a
great.
video that was adjacent to that, but was mostly covering a completely different crazy man.
Yeah. If you folks, it's spelled, yeah,
Mm.
JAUWN. John is fantastic because for folks who are unfamiliar, he's a programmer, and his whole deal is he playtests crypto games from the perspective of a person who just likes video games and that's it, and isn't interested in crypto. So he's basically telling you if these are worthy as games or not.
Amanda,
And
I'm
of course,
very
he has yet
soft.
to find
Sorry, let me
anything
crank
worth
my
a fuck.
volume. I'm also. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to get my mic as close to my mouth as I can. I am laying back in my chair. I am so tired. I almost did.
Oh, is that why you're not drawing nothing?
I want to draw. I just don't have it in me yet. I'm trying to work up to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm.
I believe in you.
I did. I've done so many things today, and I'm still not done.
Yeah, I
I
know
was
the
telling
feeling.
Kel that I got.
Everybody, Enda is traveling, so
Yeah, I'm going to represent Iron Circus at TCAF this weekend in Toronto, Canada.
TCAF, Canada. Go
Canada.
to Canada. Yeah, TCAF is this weekend. That is the Toronto Comics Arts Festival. And it is kind of the place to be in Canada if you like comic books. It is this government funded, if you can believe that, comic festival that takes place in the heart of Toronto every year. And it's very unusual by North American convention standards because it's free. You can just walk in off the street and go to TCAF. And a lot of people do. And it's a really good show because, as we're all painfully aware, shipping to Canada right now is absurd, ridiculous, offensive, and has been for a while. And so a lot of people don't buy books on Kickstarter anymore. And they just wait for you to come to Canada and they just buy it off you in person now.
I mean,
That like
admittedly,
that's
the
the move.
shipping to Canada is ridiculous, especially when you're right across the border and they're right fucking there. I'm like, I could throw my book and hit them, and they're like, nope, doesn't matter.
Yeah, the shipping is awful. It's horrifying. And I've been doing Kickstarters enough that I remember when that was not the case. and it just kind of sucks. It kind of fucking sucks. But there's not really anything I can do about it. Every single Kickstarter, excuse me, every single crowdfund I run,
If
I'll
I
never run a
think about
Kickstarter
every
again.
time the postage increased in the middle of a crowdfund,
Yeah.
I'll have an aneurysm.
Yeah, it sucks. It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. And
And if you're gonna be at TKF and you want to make me lose my absolute shit,
mhm.
come up to the table and say, "Hey, your banners are crooked," and I'll just die on the spot.
And then no matter what she does, go, well, that just made it worse.
No, I got banners made. They're delayed. I got them made late because I got a misquote, and I was like, "Ah, fuck." So then I got them. I said, "Well, these are we can get posters instead. We can get proper banners later. I'll get nice posters and cut them in half so they can be the proper banner size." And I did that. And then I go in. They were supposed to be to the bleed, and that's one of the things I was doing today out in the rain in my shitty car. And I show up and they have giant white margins. And I
Because they don't know what
asked,
bleed
and
means.
they have a giant well, no, on the web I did it through their website. It said, "Hey, if you want this to go to the edges, make sure it goes past the trim into the bleed." I'm like, "I know, I do this. I know, I did that." So then I was like, "Well, I'm not going to make them redo it. It'll probably take forever. I got a plane tomorrow." So I said, "Hey, y'all got a big paper cutter back there for these things. Can you trim them?" And they were like, "No." And I was just sitting there like, "It's right there. It would be so easy." And they're like, "No." And I was just like, I was so tired at that point. I was like, "Fine." So I just finished trimming them by hand with seamstress scissors. They
Oh,
look really
Lord.
good. Do not get it
Aw.
twisted. But if
They look,
one person notices like it's slightly crooked in a spot, you
you'll
will
cry.
destroy me. You will crush me.
So you all have your mission for TCAF to be all like, hey, I didn't want to say anything, but your banner is crooked. Okay, bye.
It will destroy me.
That'd be fantastic. But yeah,
I
TCAF is exciting, and if you are a Canadian living within spitting distance of Toronto, I strongly recommend going.
It's gonna be
Just saying.
easier to drive up and see. Yeah, frankly.
Oh, it's
Or
exciting,
their ship.
and
Penciler says they're shipping things on eBay to their friend in BC, and it's gonna be easier to drive up and see it. Frankly, yeah.
yeah,
As long as you don't tell Border that
yeah, 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 yeah.
is
Yep.
Kel okay?
Yeah,
Kel,
I'm here.
Okay, your
Kel's just
avatar
listening.
has frozen in a mouth open position, and I don't know why. And I was
Oh,
wondering if it was because of something. Let me check.
It's
So
contemplating. It's
contemplating.
contemplating.
Let me see if I can't like refresh it or something. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's not doing that in the actual thing. Yeah, why is it
well, is it not moving?
not for me?
No, huh? It's not moving for me either.
That's
It's
weird.
ruined. It's
Give me a
ruined
second.
forever.
Give
It's
me a
ruined
second.
forever.
I will go to the thing we use. Yeah. Da-ba-da.
Everyone, I spent a good chunk of today hanging up all the artwork I have at my new place. I sent Spike and Amanda pictures before we started.
Very nice gallery wall.
Huh. I wonder why it's not. It's not detecting you're talking.
Yeah, weird. Um,
That is weird.
but yeah, I have a wall that is all fan art people have given me of
Oh,
Sorcery
that's
101 and
nice.
Sitting Between characters.
That's nice.
And then I have a wall that's commissions I got of the character Wolf from the 10th Kingdom. Because he made an impression on 13-year-old me.
Kind of eggy.
I was talking to some people before I got all these commissioned. I was talking to some friends about with these days prose authors and other creatives are kind of on their sleeve just admitting like, oh, this started as a fanfic of X. And um it's one of those things, and so I was talking to people about like, what is a thing that like is baked into the DNA of the work that you're doing. Um and while we were all comparing, I was like, well, Buffy is obviously one, and that's the one that most people correctly guess when it comes to my work.
Kel, can you
Uh,
go to the link I just sent you?
yeah. And then the other one is the 10th Kingdom, and that is one that like um okay, I've clicked this link, Amanda. What do I do now?
I just wanted you to make sure you did you log in to Discord?
Yes.
Okay, then right now I have no idea what it's doing. I will troubleshoot it later. I am very sorry.
Okay. All right, that's fine. But so it's like Buffy's the obvious one, but then the 10th Kingdom is one that like I feel like people either haven't seen it or they're like, "Oh my god, I loved that when I was a kid."
I'll admit I don't
it,
know what it is.
it was a mini series that ran on ABC. So
Okay.
back in the before times, before streaming, kiddos,
The long,
uh,
long ago.
in the long, long ago, during the summer, it was mostly reruns, but ABC during the summer would run a mini series that was like, because we don't have any new episodes of shows to show, so let's like just go wild and do a little mini series. And I feel like if you have seen clips of a live action Gulliver's Travels um before the movie came out, it was probably this miniseries. That because they did a whole bunch of them. So like there's like a Moby Dick miniseries that starred Patrick Stewart. There's a Merlin miniseries that starred Sam Neill. They did a live action Odyssey, and I remember watching that in elementary school. Like my history teacher busted it out to explain Greek mythology to us. And so the 10th Kingdom is one that they made, which is about two folks from New York get sucked into fairy tale world. And they're just they're trying to get home. And it's not like, when I say fairy tale world, it's like the fairy tales happened 200 years ago. So what we think of as like Cinderella and Red Riding Hood is like their history books.
Okay.
And it is very good if you like a distinct flavor of cheese. Because Mel Gilman had also seen it as a kid, and Blue Delaquanti, who was also in this conversation, had not seen it, and we were discussing. Mel and I were trying to figure out, does the 10th Kingdom hold up? And I'm like, it is as cheesy now as it was when it aired. So if you liked the cheesiness when it aired, it is still that cheesy. It is also extremely horny. Like rewatching it, because we ended up watching it at Emerald City, and that was the thing that struck us, is like, TV is not this horny now. Like,
It's on the channel.
yeah, it's like there's that like news article that was like, everyone is sexy but no one is horny. This is like definitely before that. Like there's a low grade horniness to almost every single conversation.
Low grade horniness. Picturing a prospector just kind of like digging some horniness out of the ground and putting it in a Sayer's little dish and adding a chemical and then putting his eye
so
loop.
the character that
not a
made an impression on me as a kid is a wolf, and he cannot figure out if he is hungry or horny, and that is kind of his thing.
I too enjoy Beastars.
um,
This is some low grade horny. We've got some higher grade horny up in the mountains there.
yep. I was right before this talking to someone about it. I was talking to our friend of the show, Abby Larkey, who admitted that she hadn't finished it, so she did not get to the sexy hide and go seek scene. And if you have seen the 10th Kingdom, you know exactly what scene I'm referring to.
I saw it, but I was very young. My mom was into it.
This just continues the thing that your mom likes all the things I liked when I was 10.
Yes.
Yeah, this one passed me by. Where I grew up, the done thing for networks during the summer was endless movie reruns. Saturday matinees were a big thing where I grew up.
Well, so like they did that on other channels. It was just ABC was the one that was like, we're just gonna take something in the public domain and make a miniseries out of it.
Because they had to fill the hours.
And the ones that I remember the best are Merlin and the 10th Kingdom.
I remember very, very few miniseries from when I was a kid. I don't know if they were like a super big thing when I was young.
It was also funny that like when we looked up how many ABC miniseries there were on IMDb, there are so many. Like, so Spike, the thing is, when I say people either haven't seen it or they say they loved it, like even the people who are the same age as me, not many of them watched it. So this might just be you are lining up with the average human experience in regard to these miniseries.
Okay. You know?
I'm just drawing my feelings right now.
That's okay. You can draw your feelings. It's amazing. I'm just working on the same page I literally haven't had time to work on in fucking ages. That's why I want to keep doing this show, because it's the only time I can set aside to fucking do comics like I was supposed to do.
I've been very productive when it comes to
when I was supposed to do comics.
I've been very productive with comics. It's just lately it's just been on the move. It's like I really, ever since I got my little laptop tablet thingy, I've been like drawing everywhere but my computer. So it's been pretty neat. I do have to keep returning to my computer for some things because like I don't like typing on it, like when I have to do like dialogue and stuff, and there's certain things I just do not enjoy. Also, it has a very high resolution screen, so like it doesn't display like dot tones the way I actually want. Like I will actually view them. So I would do switchback, but generally I really like fucking drawing on the couch or at someone's house, or ravioli. If you eat that, into the garbage you will go.
What is sitting up at my desk with my big old Wacom 21UX, my old girl here, just sort of overly hot, whirring away, and just drawing my stupid comics while I listen to a BBC podcast because I'm a boring bitch.
That sounds like the life. It sounds like the dream.
Something I have acquired. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Come here. Come here, Ravioli. Get in my lap.
There's just so much out there that isn't on any streaming site.
Come here, Ravioli.
And needs to be acquired because it's in a vault somewhere. And when I go, hey, I sure would like to see that, someone goes, no. And I go, well, okay, what platform is it on? And they go, none. And I go, why is that? And they just go, ah. And then I go, oh, okay. And then it is acquired.
The fuck was that?
Eh?
Sorry, there's a sound outside that scared me, and it scared Ravioli. She went to go check it out too. It sounded like someone's entire like house.
Don't punish your success. You're doing it. Thank you, pencil ears.
It sounded like someone's entire house like fell out their window or something.
Oh, there was Roots, Kristen Cheney. That's right, and Shogun. Actually, you know, Kristen Cheney. What I remember from my childhood on TV. I've mentioned this multiple times before. That I remember a couple of things. One of the things I remember is Axl Rose and Slash winning a Grammy and going on stage. And they were both very drunk. And that was the first time I heard the word fuck on TV. because they started out and they said, "We like to thank fucking," and then they stopped and looked at each other and went, "Oops," and then they leaned into the microphone and said more loudly, "Oops, sorry," and then they were immediately cut off and we went straight to commercial. And my parents looked at me and I looked at them and they went, "Don't say that word." And I'm like, "I know." So I remember that. But I also remember a miniseries that was on TV when I was a kid for Shaka Zulu. And I didn't watch it because I didn't know what it was. But the ad for it for some reason has stuck with me. Because like even now upon reflection, like even at the time while it was happening, this ad felt more like, are you fucking making fun of me more than anything? Because it was, tonight at 8, Shaka Zulu, and then like spears would come in. And then, like funk, funk, funk on the TV. And so like I'm sure there's more to it than that, but like that's like that's sidling up to a fairly unpopular but still extant slur, right? I mean, I'm just making sure we're aware of that. But yeah, those are two things that I remember from TV when I was younger. That and of course the
Uh,
endless fucking Saturday matinees of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which I watched obsessively.
Spike, I just linked the list of all of these. They're apparently called Hallmark Epic miniseries.
Okay.
If you've seen pictures of adaptations of the Dune sequels, that is one of them.
Okay.
Oh shit, my phone.
Uh,
I can't reach it. Ah, I'll be right back.
One of their last ones was was Dinotopia.
Oh wow. Oh, I didn't even know that existed. I'd stopped watching TV by then, I suspect.
It's really bad. Their Dinotopia. They did
Yeah.
not have the budget to pull it off.
I mean, I bet they could probably do it pretty easily these days, but when did this happen?
It's like they're all from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Ooh. Ooh, oh dear. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know about that. I
Yeah.
mean, granted, this is me being slightly biased. Jurassic Park still looks really good. It
Yeah,
looks
but this
really,
is
really
still a
good.
TV
But
budget. So,
but Jurassic
this
Park was
this is
literally yeah,
their
yeah,
budget is comparable to Xena, not compared to Jurassic Park.
yeah. I was about to say Jurassic Park is literally bleeding edge tech from the most powerful director in the industry at the time,
Oh,
who basically
Spike,
wrote his
did you
own
ever
checks.
hear about that very bad Earthsea miniseries?
I think I may have refused to watch it.
Yeah, they also made that.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I remember there was an Earthsea. If it wasn't a Ghibli film, it was Ghibli adjacent, and
No, this is live action. It's
I know, I'm talking about
yeah.
something else. It was Ghibli adjacent, and I remember I
I
was
think
like,
it was by
I'm going,
Miyazaki's son, right?
yeah,
It is
Goro,
still so it was still a Ghibli film. It was just
yeah,
directed by Miyazaki's son.
and Goro Miyazaki directed it, and I was like, I am going to watch the trailer for it. I'm going to watch the teaser for it, and I saw the first character, and I was like, no, it's like, no, we're not doing this. I understand you're Japanese. I understand it's different. I understand it's not comparable
Okay,
to when Americans do this, but you still did it, and the answer is no.
so tangential to that.
Mhm.
This is a frustration I have with anytime Ghibli adapts something, um, which is they just take the title of a thing and then there's almost nothing in common with the thing they're adapting to the point where I'm
Right.
like, why did you even bother calling it that thing?
Is this a Howl's
Um,
Moving Castle comment?
yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've
Uh,
read the book. They're not that different. They just have like there's some key differences, but like it's not like that's all they took.
they're pretty different. They're entirely different
No,
stories.
they're different. No, they're different, but like Again, I love the book. I love it more than the movie, but like to say that like they only took the title. They took parts that they liked for sure, but they didn't just take the title.
It's so different that I am like, why did you even bother?
I can see why.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's you see parts that you like and you go, I want to adapt that part. I don't necessarily like the other parts.
Ugh.
I don't like the plot of this.
No, that's fair. Again, oh my
Yeah.
god. I don't know if you can hear the
Cops are finally coming
sirens.
for you.
Then,
Finally
then,
coming for
then
you.
it's not an adaptation.
Oh,
and
maybe it was
it's,
a car
why did
accident
you
I heard.
even
Uh-oh.
like get the rights to it? Like,
Woo.
I'll be right back. That's actually happening where my car is parked. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. And while Amanda goes and checks on the car, which has made her life hell, this will remind me of a thing that recently happened to me where I was just like in my fucking little apartment, minding my own business, living my little pathetic life. And I heard noise outside. And it was really loud. And it was really repetitive. And it was just a lot of like laughing and screaming and noise. And I was just like, oh, wonder what's going on. You know, like my dumbass didn't own a calendar. Like it was clearly Cinco de Mayo. And I was just like, I wonder what's happening. Like, what's going on? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess occasionally we have people having a good time on the street outside my apartment, but this seems a lot higher population wise, and they seem a little happier than. I wonder what's going on. Oh well, better not look at the calendar and get back to work. It was very stupid.
but yeah, I frequently am like, why? Whenever an adaptation comes out, where it's like, why did you even bother getting the rights to this? Because it's not necessarily that it means that they made a bad movie or a bad story. It's more just, this is so different. Why
Right,
don't you just do your own thing?
right.
Um,
I get it.
like, I like the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves in it,
Hmm.
but that's not a Hellblazer story.
I do not have Hellblazer opinions, I must admit.
Okay, so the problem with the Constantine movie, Spike, is that
Hmm.
it's too happy.
Oh, okay. Okey-dokey.
Yeah, everybody lives, and his cancer gets cured, and everything turns out great.
See, I
And
didn't even know he
that's
had
not how
cancer.
Hellblazer stories go.
Okay. I
Hellblazer stories go, John Constantine saved the world by betraying everyone he loves and by murdering a child.
Yeah. I have absolutely it's like I'm fully unfamiliar with John Constantine, so I do not know. Also,
I
he's
mean,
not
I
English.
just summed up the main things you need to know.
Mhm.
That's the main vibe of a Hellblazer story is endless suffering.
We are now in the part of the page production, by the way, where I do not dunk on people who do digital lettering and digital balloons. I truly do not. Because what I'm doing right now is stupid and it's a waste of time, but it's a thing I kind of insist on doing. And that is me carefully shoving and poking and prodding and adjusting the word balloons and hand lettered letters. And I have now been doing this for half an hour. And it's a colossal waste of time. And I only get to do this because this page isn't waiting on, like, there's no deadline for this page. This is just a thing I get to do because no one's waiting on this. No one's like tapping their watch like Judge Judy and slapping the table while staring at me. So, we all have to survive capitalism, and sometimes surviving capitalism means digital lettering because that's all you have time for. And if that's how it's got to be, then that's how it's got to fucking be.
Penciliers, I understood that reference.
I'm making an Eddie Izzard ref. I will do it again. Oop.
Um, but yeah, I was very disappointed that Howl's Moving Castle was yet another movie about how war is bad, rather than the actual plot of Howl's Moving Castle.
Consider who's running that studio.
No,
An
I'm
old
not saying that it's bad. That he wants to tell that story.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
I would like an actual Howl's Moving Castle adaptation.
It's like Japan sure has a lot of war is terrible movies. I wonder why that is.
I'm not saying that it's bad that is the story. I'm saying it's bad that you're claiming that's what Howl's Moving Castle is about.
Okay. I don't know what Howl's Moving Castle is. All I know is it was a book and now it's a cartoon and they're both okay. I'm assuming. I've only ever watched the cartoon. I've never read the book.
I return.
The
How's it
book
going,
is
Amanda?
about the main character thinks that she's destined to fail because by fairy tale logic, as the oldest child, she must fail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of silly, but all right.
So,
I do believe second forms try harder, though. But
so
that's
my
just me.
shitty little car was spared,
Hooray!
but there is a abandoned van right in front of my apartment's entryway on the sidewalk and the grass. It has it rammed into the front of my building.
Oh shit!
We don't have a fence anymore.
Oh.
Okay, no, we have half
wow,
of a
so
fence.
something- Wow, that's exciting as shit.
I don't know about exciting is the word. It's kind of scary.
Well, stay indoors.
I mean, where I am
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But so if
the
you
only
hear
thing-
honking occasionally, it's because the van was abandoned and it is just honking.
Yeah, this is comparable
Amanda
to...
has a new van.
Yeah, new van for Amanda. But yeah, this is comparable to when I was working again one day. My little, I was just living my
Looting
little
time.
fucking life.
No, there's so many
Um,
cops and so many ambulances and so many well, there's one fire truck, not so many. No, this is this was clearly a rampage that was stopped by my apartment.
But one day I was working, and I should note I don't live very close to the ground. But because of the composition of where I live, sound carries. So I can sometimes hear things that are on the ground floor, in the street, unusually well. I think better than people think I can. And one day I was just, going about my life, and I heard extremely clearly, like it was a room or two away. Put your hands up! Get on the fucking ground! Get on the fucking ground! Do it now! And I was like, oh. I think I'll stay away from the window. And I didn't even go look. And I'm usually like that, the worst bitch on earth. I'm like a character from a Will Eisner comic. I literally have a set of binoculars that I use to look down on the street at things that I find interesting.
Oh
And I was like,
man,
"No, I'm not
this
gonna
is
look
the
at that."
second loud car accident I've heard since being here. So where I not to dox myself, but I live kind of where a very very major highway just kind of abruptly ends and turns into very residential streets. So it goes from being a 4-lane highway to a 3-lane, and then suddenly it's just one road. It's just one road. And so a lot of car accidents can happen because usually people are speeding down that highway and they're like, I don't even think it's technically a highway. But anyway, they speed down it and they're like, I'm not going to stop doing that. I have places to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago that... Oh, sorry.
The street I grew up on, it was the main road, the main big straight road in town. So people liked to go speeding down it. And I got to see a lot of car accidents because of that. And there I once saw a car hit a guy on a motorcycle.
Oh, no.
And that guy bled a lot.
Oh, no.
I bet you did. Holy shit.
Yeah.
In my old
there
apartment,
were many a night where it's there's a lot of ambulance and sirens
someone
going
sent me
on
your coffee.
because someone
Thank
just
you.
crashed into a tree or did something way faster than they were supposed to.
My bones. Okay, that is
In our
it's
old
still honking. Is that going to be an all night thing?
uh in our old apartment, Matt and I used to live on the corner that we called the corner of crash and burn because like car accidents where I would straight up call them a weekly thing at one point. And I'm not talking about like massive spin out cars, triple corkscrew, people flung across the street kind of accidents. I mean just like maybe two classes higher than a fender bender accident. And it got to the point we could recognize the sound of a car crash, not a crash, I should say car accident. That's specifically very different. And it was the sound of a very solid, meaty, and definitive thunk. And that's how you know one car had hit another car hard enough that both people were going to have to pull over to the shoulder about it. And we would go to the windows and we just sort of like look out and see if we could see the car accident from where we lived. Because, that was usually good for I mean, I have to admit, a few giggles. It was good. It was fun to watch
I mean,
because,
admittedly, chat, they're probably going to tow it away. I think they're just having trouble, getting to it because of where. I mean, it's the front bumper is basically connected to the front bricks of the apartment right now.
yeah. But yeah, they did something to change. They did something to change that corner because one year the crashes just stopped. And the theory we always had was they changed the way the stoplights worked at that intersection because before then like accidents were very common. But that's what car accidents sound like. They don't sound like screech crash. They sound like thunk.
I was seconds away from taking pictures, but I was quietly like, "That's morbid, Amanda." Also, that's a good way to dox yourself. Good job.
Hey, speaking of doxing
Uh oh.
ourselves,
Uh oh.
I have
Uh oh.
some questionable news about my neighborhood, my lovely
Oh
neighborhood.
yeah.
Yeah, I told Cal and Amanda about this. So, surprise! A Google campus is opening up walking distance from where I live. So the character of my home sort of like neighborhood is probably 2 or 3 years out from
I
changing
mean, I
drastically,
mean
and
you.
chances are in a way I'm not a huge fan of.
I mean, would it be too much information to talk about the other place that's nearby you now?
Yes.
Okay, then I won't.
I am more worried about the Google campus than I
No,
am about that
completely
place.
understandable. I'm just saying
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a weird one.
the kind of people who move in because a Google campus is nearby. I'm not sure I want those people for neighbors. Like I'm just not sure. Of course, I'm being very presumptuous. Who knows? They could be very cool, but it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. I mean, Google used to be cool. They are very much not now. What do I want? I want this layer. Uh-oh, no, wait,
Oh wait,
you
never
are
mind.
not the
I was
correct
just about to
layer.
dox my own ass. Oops.
I want to do this. But yeah, hooray. Let's turn that on.
Hooray! Man
Hooray.
buns
Everything
everywhere. There ain't nothing wrong with a man bun. Leave him alone.
everything that is why I moved into this neighborhood is about to change and I can't do anything. Can't do a thing about it.
I mean, your neighbor. Never mind.
Yeah. 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 But yeah, it's I don't know how to feel about it. Again, it's like don't be presumptuous. Who knows? It
Also, I
chances
feel
are
like they're gonna.
entirely.
Your neighborhood's also very college kid heavy. I don't think they have the
Yeah.
ability to change that.
Yeah, I'm being very presumptuous and being a worrywart about it. So I don't know. I'm not psychic. I can't sit here and say, but it's yeah. I don't know. It doesn't
Miss
give me good
Ellesmere,
feelings.
Spike owns her home, so
Yeah.
um it's just gonna mean, Spike, you're gonna make so much money when you sell that place.
Oh god. Yeah, I like to think that Matt and I got in to the property ladder the last year that was kind of a reasonable thing to hope you could do. We got in near the end of the like 2008 had happened and it had trickled down and it was like really affecting people and nobody was buying and there was deflation and stuff. And deflation is pretty bad on a
What?
What's the word I'm looking for? Deflation.
No, I'm joking. I'm being a turd.
Oh.
Ignore me.
Deflation is pretty bad on a like nationwide economic scale, but it's pretty good on an individual scale. And we got a big old heap and helping of deflation when we bought this place because the price was cut by $40,000 in one day, and that's the only reason we could afford it. And yeah, ever since then, it's just been property prices to the moon with no sign of it changing.
So apparently, at least in Portland, condos are going down,
Hmm.
but houses are still going up.
Oh, that's weird. That's not how I'd expect it to be. Because it's always about
Um,
demand, and urban areas are in high demand these days.
oh no, no, no! See, it's just the people coming to Portland want a house in the urban area.
Okay. Yeah.
And so yeah, so like
Chat says you were talking about buying that house less warehouse and more pressure to buy the Nabisco factory.
Yeah. Oh God, if I could buy the Nabisco factory, that'd be amazing. Oh, I'd be the
but
happiest
yeah,
little
so
girl.
it's like looking at Zillow, it's like the condos are going down a tiny bit every time I look, but houses keep going up and up.
No.
I guess folks are really invested in having a yard in Portland.
Yeah. Yards seem like a lot of trouble, and I am not convinced they are worth it.
Yeah, but people in Portland are dog people.
Yeah. True. True.
Not to say more so than other places, but I noticed way more dog per square foot there than other places.
Yeah, where the points are made up and it doesn't matter. Seriously, Bird Wizard. You need a factory. I would factory Igor. Oh God, there are multiple factories in Chicago where I'm just like, oh, when I see them, I'm just like I would love to like live there. All my little bullshit suburban kid dreams of living in a loft, but like on drugs. They would be like it'd be so cool to like live in a big redone factory, like I'm in Flashdance. That'd be amazing. Okay, so these are the inks for this page. And here is the big thing that is the big reveal for that I'm sure everyone who watches this has seen a bunch of times. But now the text is in place. And Ta is saying, well, if the she really throws you out of her pouch, I'll turn back into a girl and you can get your third birth in mine. To which Bettany replies, shut up, don't say weird things, just walk. And yeah, so that is Ta. I believe someone's referred to them as a they them gremlin. Yeah, Ta has very much they them gremlin vibes. So
A themlin.
a them hey, there you fucking go. A themlin.
A themling.
Ta's a themlin.
Amanda, I love this possum that you have drawn.
Thank you. It's me.
It's
It's
evocative.
me.
It's evocative. It's extremely evocative.
It's me
Let's
2
see.
hours ago in the rain yelling at my
Screaming.
car. My hair
Honestly,
is still wet. Black.
This is just telling me. Oh God, I hate cars so much. But this is the thing is I hate cars and I also like cars.
I like
It's
cars. I
good.
like driving. I like having a car. It just, I'm at a point, because you have to understand, this car was
Mhm.
used when I got it.
Yeah,
I got it for like $6,000.
that's not bad.
Yeah, and it's done me pretty well since then, and I've been able to fix every single problem with it that's come across. I've been pretty happy with this car, but I'm just finally approaching problems that, like, you need a way more time to diagnose. And, like, for example, I don't
Uh-huh.
know. I thought I found the coolant leak. I did not find the coolant leak. I don't know where it is. To patch it, I'm losing my mind. It's just, my car is about to become, like, covered in duct tape, because I just don't know where the leak is. So my car won't hold coolant. Like, I came out to it one day and it just, like, pissed coolant
Puddle.
everywhere. And I was just like,
Yeah.
what the fart?
And a car needs coolant.
It does. So I can drive my car as long as I never end up in standstill traffic.
Oh God.
So as long as that never happens, I can drive my car. But that was the problem today. There was just a tiny bit of rush hour. Just the tail end of rush hour traffic was enough to make my car go, fuck you.
Oh, that's not great though.
Thunk-a-da-thunk-a-da thunk.
Oh, that's not good.
I'm tempted to just sell it with the problems it has. Because, again, it's fully paid off. I like having a car, but, like... Yeah, well, yeah, I
Is
paid
it-
it off a while ago.
Nice.
when I still lived in
Congrats.
Texas, with one of my coloring jobs.
Woohoo.
Yay! But yeah, no. I'm tempted to just sell it with the problems it has, and just save up for another one at some point. I could still fix it maybe, but I'm
And you
also
can do
like
a car share for the times you like really need a car and there's
a
just like
what?
no way around. A car share.
I don't know what that is.
A car share is
It's
basically a
basically
subscription.
they have little cars that are parked around the city, and you can just rent one that's closest to you for like an hour or two.
Huh? I've never
It's for
heard of
people
that.
who like need a car 2 times a month or something.
Ah, see, that is kind of me. Because
Yeah.
I do like to drive, and I like to be the
Mhm.
friend who has the car. Because I like to do people favors. I genuinely like it when friends like, hey, I need to get groceries. Will you take me to the grocery store? I'm like, yes, genuinely love. I don't know why. I just really like to do that shit. Um.
Here you go, Amanda.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Uh,
the rent-a-bikes. Exactly,
yeah,
Burgess.
Those are everywhere. I've seen those. Those
Oh,
are
those are all over Chicago,
divvy.
yeah.
I've been thinking about getting one, but then I'm like, oh no, if my fat ass forgets and falls off a div bike, I'll cry.
Yeah, I have fallen off a div bike. It's survivable, but it's not good for your pride.
So zip car. So like, I assume you need to have your own insurance, right?
No, they handle insurance. You
I
just
think
need,
the insurance is included in the monthly fee. Um,
Oh.
yeah. And you basically just need a license in the state.
Well, that I'd have to change that. I
Yeah,
still have my
I
Texas
imagine you
license.
were gonna anyway.
Well, I was gonna, but I just spent like over $300 getting my title and license on my car.
Oh.
I just got my Illinois plates, and I'm waiting on my Illinois title, which hasn't come yet and is concerning. Oh,
and then
76 dollars a day is not bad.
Yeah, it's really
Oh.
not. Especially if like if you and I and Matt and your friend were to drive to like Wisconsin to go to that safari park or something.
Why'd you say
well,
it
they
like that?
sometimes have
What? I don't know
they
if they want their name on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
uh sometimes they have rules that you're not allowed to take them out of state. So
Check on that,
that
yeah.
would be a thing to double check.
Well, then you can just do a traditional car rental.
Yeah.
I mean, then you
That
can
we
just do
could.
like a
That we
traditional
could.
car rental where you just rent a car, you drop it off when you get there, and when you go home, you rent another car, and then drop it off when you get there.
Party van.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I've been taking the honestly, my car just kind of, even though I like driving, my car really does just sit there enough that I have to periodically move it so that it's not
Mhm.
considered abandoned.
Yeah, the city will get you if you leave it in one spot
Oh,
too long.
yes. I know somebody was calling 311. I know they were.
Oh.
I don't know who, but I know someone was. Anyway, my car's not abandoned, but I did have to, like, every like 5 days, I will move it because,
Uh-huh.
again, even if it wasn't broken, the
Yeah.
buses are just way too easy.
Oh, the buses are great. The buses in Chicago are great. The metro in Chicago is great too.
The only time I really use my car is for like, well, I need to go to the local grocery store. The buses aren't really convenient for that.
Yeah.
Like if I want to do a big grocery shop, they really aren't convenient. Though the shopping cart you got me for my birthday has been helping a lot.
Oh, I'm glad.
Though someone
I
thought it
like
was a baby, and I was like, no, just groceries.
it's gonna be a food baby.
Just groceries. Also, it's a great rat transport. Because okay, so I have so Spike for my birthday got me this like foldable shopping cart. It's meant to, you fold it up and you put it away. It's for, city living. And it's
Yeah.
basically got this the basket is actually black fabric. So, which is great for when I take the rats to the vet because I put their little travel cage in it and seal the top. So they can't see shit outside.
And panic and scream and scrabble.
Yeah, so I just like push them along. And someone once did see that. It's like, oh, is it babies? Like, no, rats. Kind of babies.
My babies.
All terrain rats.
My ugly babies.
But that was super helpful because what I used to just do is just put them in a traditional carrier that you carry and it sways and they get all, ah.
to my
Though,
world. Yeah.
so that would have been really helpful. These are my last rats, so I won't be doing intros anymore. But it would be really fun because one of my old rat intros, when I introduced new rats to the big rats, is when they're finally at that point where they need to be integrated, but they're not quite over the hill yet. I would take them for traumatizing car rides, where the idea is they bond via
Bond.
trauma. Is I would put them in their travel carrier, put them in the passenger seat, buckle them in, and just go for a drive anywhere. And they would hate it so much that you would find two rats who previously did not want to hang out are suddenly holding each other for dear life because the car is moving and it is noisy. Hold me, brother, hold me. And then at the end, I would always get McDonald's and give them some French fries as a reward. And then they're like, "Oh, brother, we feast." And then after that, they were usually cuddly.
Oh.
You just have to, convince them they are all they have in this world. They better love each other.
Like parenting.
Yeah! Traumatize the children.
Exactly.
Leave them in the woods.
But yeah, see, we're old now. Practical gifts are the best kind.
Yeah.
No more like, oh wow, how nice, thank you. More like, oh fuck yeah, socks. Give me those fucking socks.
Oh my god, it's still honking.
I'm sure they'll get it.
No, it's more just humorous because I kind of forget and then I'll get quiet and there it is.
Oh,
I need to charge my phone. I still have so much work to do tonight. I have typing to do.
know.
I've got drawing to do. Well, I guess not drawing. I can put the drawing aside.
yeah.
That's more for me. I just wanted to do that, but
Have fun in Toronto.
I will. I'm gonna smuggle my girlfriend candy.
Yay.
Oh, what are you smuggling?
She's never had any Canadian candies, so I'm gonna bring whatever.
Well, you gotta also bring ketchup chips.
I do not.
But they're good.
But they're here.
But oh, right, okay. I get, yeah, things have changed a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I want to specifically bring the Canadian snacks.
Like coffee crisp or something?
Yeah, and arrows and Kinder eggs and shit.
Okay.
The
Kinder
shit we
eggs
used to
are
like.
awful.
Oh, you can't take Kinder eggs over the border.
What?
That's the reason why we don't have them here is they are illegal.
I know
here.
that, but I took them over the border all the time.
If you get caught, you will get fined $10,000.
So I've been breaking the law for like 10 years.
Reading
Yes.
this. Where are you reading this? Where is this? Who? Because I see ads for Kinder stuff on YouTube.
No, Kel. I mean, Spike. No, those are different. Kinder makes other chocolates.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Like
Kinder
Bueno
is a
bars, which
general
I love.
coffee- Yeah, Kinder is a general chocolate company, but Kinder eggs in the U.S. are different from Kinder eggs everywhere else because you cannot put a toy in something edible. It is a choking hazard in the U.S.
Completely reasonable, frankly.
So the Kinder eggs in the U.S. have the toy separate from the egg. But the chocolate is still the same. Because
the way they do
Americans,
it here is it's two containers that form an egg. One half of the container has the toy sealed. The other half has this like hazelnut candy cream sealed. Mm-hmm. So the toy and the candy do not touch or intersect.
Yeah. So yes, Amanda, you were breaking the law.
Oh my god!
If you get caught, you will get a very large fine.
I would just cross over with my pockets, because that was when I lived in Portland, and we would just do big drives up to Vancouver. So I would just waltz over with my pockets full of Kinder eggs.
Crimes.
Oh, the crimes.
But yeah, so just FYI,
this is my last chance to decide on the placement of the nipple. I'm not sure I want it visible when you do that.
I think there should be no visible nipples.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Also, doing this kind of hurts. In case that's what the little stars mean. Doing this kind of hurts. So.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I thought it was more. I thought they were more like ta-da stars. Behold, the pouch. The Themlin pouch.
The Femlin pouch.
Get in, motherfuckers.
I'll
But
give you a third birth if God rejects
when
you.
I I'm gonna go to Scotland in August, and I'm going to
Hey.
smuggle Pop Tarts into the UK. Uh,
Why not smuggle something good into the UK?
Yeah.
because I asked Kate uh if she wanted any weird flavored Pop Tarts that they don't have in the
Ugh.
UK.
I thought Kate was a
Um,
friend. Why would you give
The
Kate
cops are
Pop-Tarts?
actually outside for Amanda. She's inside like Leon the professional.
Ugh,
I don't know
and
what that
and
is.
Kate said that she would like cherry Pop Tarts. Um,
gross.
and those are illegal in the UK because of the food coloring in them.
Ah.
And also because they're disgusting.
No,
No, they're fine.
Pop
No,
Tarts
they're
are
bad.
hit or miss. If you like the s'mores one, those are great, but those are basically candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't a breakfast. This is a candy. Frankly, most
Yeah,
breakfast
I
things are
feel
not a
like when
breakfast.
they
They are a
made
candy.
s'mores pop no, I feel like when they made s'mores pop tarts, that's when they finally admitted to themselves, this is candy. This is not actually breakfast. There is no even the pretense of being healthy in any way.
Hmm.
Because after the s'mores pop tarts, that's when you got right after that is when you got the chocolate pop tarts, and then the ice cream sundae pop tarts, and all the pop tarts that are just dessert.
Yeah.
Um,
I also I I'm been using Starry Night as propaganda. Uh,
Hmm.
Basically, Shibley's mom has a line where she says donuts are dessert, not breakfast. That is my
Yes.
stance.
Shibley's mom is correct.
I'm using her mother as a mouthpiece. Donuts are
And you
dessert, not
are
breakfast.
correct. That
Thank you.
donuts are
Thank
not
you.
breakfast.
I'm glad
listen,
that I can be
I'm an
validated in
adult
this
and no one can
space.
stop me from eating
No, no,
dessert for
no.
breakfast.
You can
Mm.
have, as long as you know that it is dessert for breakfast.
Yeah.
That's all. I also kind of am on team cereals. Dessert.
Yeah.
50% of cereals are dessert, not breakfast.
Yeah.
Yep. Cereals
Ravioli,
are a
make up
treat,
your
man.
mind, honey bunny.
Oh.
Was it you? Did you wreck that van in front of the apartment? Are you the reason we don't have a fence anymore?
Oh, oh, listen.
She's absolutely fighting me to put
Listen
her
to
down.
that murder.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Um,
put you down then.
No wonder you are at her beck and call. Listen to that.
I um
At her
I was
beck and
in
call. I
Boston
spent
last
half my time yelling, no.
I was in Boston last week. And while there, my food missions were get a lobster roll and get Dunkin'
Oh,
Donuts.
jealous, jealous, jealous.
Lobster rolls are great as long as
Oh,
they are
oh, oh,
butter
chat.
lobster rolls,
Is
not mayo
Toonces the
lobster
cat
rolls.
from some comedy show that like
Yes, Toots is the driving cat from
was
Saturday Night
there a
Live.
segment? I think someone verified this, but I think there was a segment where Toonces like becomes like part robotic or something from
Possibly.
like after like a car accident. I don't remember. Like I can't remember, and I couldn't find any evidence of it. All I know is my family was watching something like that, and I paid attention only during that scene, and it scared the shit out of me because I was such a weenie baby of this like cat, half robot cat driving a car, and like I think it exploded. I don't remember. Anyway,
Toots is the driving cat is a well-known Saturday Night Live bit, but it is before my time, so I've never actually like seen. In the time I was watching Saturday Night Live when I was like a teenager, I never saw a Toots is the driving cat bit. So I'm sure you could find it on YouTube though. If I could find Axl Rose and Slash saying we'd like to thank fucking Oops on YouTube, fucking 40 years later, you can find Toots is the driving cat.
oh wait, I think it was a Terminator parody using Toonses.
Entirely possible.
If what I am reading is correct, because now I'm looking and I have to
Oh, you're
know.
looking it up?
Yeah, I caught glimpses of things that I later as an adult found out were not scary things, but as a kid I was like, that's absolutely the scariest thing I've ever seen because I'm dumb.
Oh. No, you're a kid, so your experience is extremely limited, and so a lot of things you're seeing or beholding or experiencing.
Well, my
it's
point
the
is, my
first
brothers
time.
were not traumatized by. Though I found it. This scared the
Oh.
shit out of me. I was a baby. I was a baby. Here you go, Spike and Kel. Here's the image that traumatized baby me.
Okay.
Well, not image, but
Oh,
I'm assuming it's got a glowing red eye.
no,
Oh no,
not
no.
quite.
It's
that is
Terminator 2
terrifying.
Toonses. It's Terminator 2
Yeah, I
Toonses.
saw that
Okay.
and lost my baby shit. I was so upset.
Oh. For folks who are wondering what we're looking
Here,
at,
I can
it
put
is
it here.
yeah.
I'll obscure. I will briefly obscure my art with this thing that specifically upset little baby Amanda very much, and it haunted me for years. There, there it is. I caught a glimpse of that on TV once and was like traumatized.
You were like, what have we wrought as a society?
Yeah.
More
Well-
like one, why can cats drive, and two, why did we let it get hurt? Jesus, I
so
take it
wild
back.
to
Oh
sort of,
God.
like, yeah. It's wild to kind of behold this because like it has no impact now. Like everyone kind of understands what it is and what it's from and why it's like that. But when you watched Terminator 2 for the first time and you had absolutely no sort of ambient cultural knowledge of what you were in for, seeing the T-1000 get shot in the face and that to be the result and it's still looking at you like it fucking hates you. That was so cool. That was so cool. And it's like it's interesting to see how things go from being like, holy fuck, that's the coolest thing ever.
Oh
To just
God,
like,
there was
yeah,
a
everyone knows
fucking
what that is.
robot version. Oh no. Oh no. I don't think this
Yeah.
did me. I think I combined the two images because this one I also remember. But oh God, the quality of this one's so bad.
The quality of TV back then was bad.
No, this is like JPEG compression out the ass.
Yeah.
Here,
They could not conceive of the resolutions.
Here, this is
Excuse
what
me,
I'm sharing
we
with
consider
chat.
normal.
Like, no wonder baby me was traumatized. This was upsetting. Poor baby me. Vindication!
Aw.
Vindication for tiny Amanda. It was creepy and
So-
terrifying.
It's Terminator 1 Toonses.
So are there multiple
Hey.
Terminator Toonses?
There's the T-100 and there's the T-1000.
I'm talking
and
about
I believe there
Toonses.
might be
Spike
more.
is saying that it is referencing.
Oh,
Terminator
okay.
1.
And hey, who wants to hear a wacky story about Terminator? It is based on when James Cameron got really, really, really sick while working on the set of another movie. And he had a literal fever dream about a metallic robot surrounded by flames. And when he got better, he was all like, that was interesting. I should do something with that. And that's why we have Terminator. It's kind of interesting if you look up James Cameron, all the B movies, all the absolute shit he worked on. So that man has put in his, like, he has paid his dues. He has worked on some absolute garbage. A lot of the folks at Pixar, not all of them obviously, but like Brad Bird's first job was like on Animal Olympics.
Are you trying to shame the Animal Olympics
so
in any
cool.
way?
The good name of Animal
Of
Olympics.
Animal Olympics. It's just nobody started.
So many furries were born because of that, Spike.
Fair enough.
Furries
But what
and
I'm
little
saying
gay
is,
Amandas were ate
I was-
very well. How dare you?
I was about to say though that it's like I almost said that a lot of the people have paid their dues. People don't just get handed things, but no, people absolutely get handed things. So I stopped.
Yeah, I mean that's how D&D got put in charge of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They were just handed it.
Yeah.
Dungeons
And
and
we
Dragons.
see how that turned out. Oh, there we go.
No, the guys that were the showrunners of Game of Thrones were like Dave and Dan, I think. So people just called them D&D.
No,
At
I
least I
know.
think
I'm
that's
being
what
a
they're
goober.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's
Okay.
credit should start with Garbaggio. Although, Tim Burton's doesn't. Tim Burton, who, man,
Because
there's a
he started
dude I
by
have,
making his own stuff.
yeah,
Um,
Frankenweenie. Yeah.
yeah.
But, man, there's a dude who's, I have changed my feelings about that person's output over the course of my lifetime. Wow. Wow.
Listen, he just wants to make the same movie over and over again.
You know what? That's totally fine. We all have our fixations. That's not even why I judge him. If he wanted to just make Frankenweenie and Edward Scissorhands and Big Fish over and over again, you know what? God bless him. He's free to do it. I don't have to watch it. If someone's gonna pay for it, on your way, sir.
Oh,
Have fun.
a good movie he made recently
Uh-huh.
was Big Eyes. Have you seen that?
I have not seen Big Eyes,
I've
but I
heard
know
of
what it's
it.
about. It's a
What'd you say,
it's a
Spike?
I I I have I know what it's about, but I have not seen it.
That one was pretty good. Amanda,
Yeah.
you said you wanted to, or
I've heard
have
of
heard
it.
of it, or
Yeah.
yeah, that was actually really good. Um,
Yeah. For
uh,
folks who are unfamiliar, it is a not documentary, a biopic about the Keens, who were a couple who got very, very famous because supposedly the husband made these paintings of what came to be known as Keen Kids, Keane, Keen Kids. And it was these like anime-eyed like little waif children, like just huge
even
wet
bigger
pug
than
Yeah, I
eyes.
animated.
think that's
Like,
not selling the right. Like these are the
Yeah.
biggest,
Yeah.
soppiest doe eyes.
Yeah, just and it was all like, here's a little girl and she's got like fucking dish plate eyes and she's just got a little bow in her hair and she's got a little tear, under one eye. It's the most it's soppy and it's saccharine and it's you kind of wonder about people who like it, like where is the taste though? But
I've seen the things you liked. How dare you?
the Keen kids became wildly, wildly fucking popular at some point. And the secret of the Keen kids is the husband was not painting them at all. The wife was painting them. So if you've read Yes Roya, it was a Yes Roya situation where they thought they would get farther with the husband claiming
well,
it was his art than the wife.
so that's the thing, is that the movie focuses on it was not a decision as a couple.
Oh.
It was the husband kind of emotionally manipulated and abused the wife. And he was a good salesman, but that's why he said it was, but he always said it was his art. And she kind of was like, well, no one would buy my paintings when I was making them, so I guess I'll just go with it. And so eventually he got so manipulatively abusive and shitty that she left him. And then I forget what religion she converted to. She might have become a Jehovah's Witness. But she basically, the part of the religion is that you cannot lie. So that is when she finally was like, to fully commit to this new religion, I cannot live this lie anymore and let him take credit for my work for all these years.
Right.
So she actually took him to court. So it's like they got divorced and he was paying her alimony, but people still thought that he was the artist, until she finally sued him, mostly because she was saying it was because she just didn't want to live this lie.
Yeah.
And the court, kudos to the judge handling this court case, because he basically said, okay, here's a simple way to prove who made the paintings.
Painted in court. Yeah.
Yeah, but make one like right now, like while we all watch you. And he came up with a bunch of excuses, and she
Why
just
he
did it.
couldn't paint. Yeah. And
Yeah,
she painted like a perfect king kid portrait there in court with everybody watching. While the husband's like, "Oh,
yeah.
I can't right now. Mercury in retrograde. My back hurts. A concussion.
I'm not in the
Arthritis."
groove. I'm not inspired. I don't have the right
Yeah,
materials. Like,
yeah. He came up with every excuse on earth, and then she just painted one. And
yeah,
he tried to keep going after that. He was like, "Oh well, no, actually, her gift is for mimicry. She just, is copying everything she watched me do." But no one bought it, obviously. So.
yeah. And so, but yeah, so, yeah, the movie is basically about the husband's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yep, he was.
And the uh, what's interesting is I was digging into more about the Keens, because there was one critic that was brought up. There's one guy that fucking just hated the Keen kids and was constantly criticizing them and was like talking about them being trite garbage.
I
And he
don't
was like,
blame
I
him.
don't. And so, well, so the thing is, the critic was like, these feel saccharine and disingenuous, and I do not believe that a man who is this much like masculine bravado
Hmm.
could have the genuine sensitivity to actually be moved to paint these kids. And when it was revealed
Good
that the
eye.
wife was the painter, not the husband, apparently some like magazine reporting on the case called up this critic. And he
Hmm.
was like, they're like, are you changing your opinion on the things now that the paintings, and now that you know that like a lady made them? And he goes, no, because it just proves that I was correct. That macho bravado shithead could not possibly have sincerely painted these sad children. And an abused wife, like, is a more like legitimate person who would be interested in drawing these like big doe-eyed sad children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because whenever the husband was asked, like, why are you drawing these kids with giant saucer eyes? Um, he would always be like, "Oh, it was because my time at war. I saw all these orphans like
Yeah. He had a good
abandoned.
spiel. Yeah.
Yeah, that they're
Oh, hey,
war
speaking
orphans, whatever."
speaking of times of war, I recently finally watched X, which has
Hmm.
me really excited for Maxine. For folks who do not know,
Me, I'm
uh,
folks.
yeah, there is a trilogy currently in the works right now of movies starring an actress named Mia Goth. The first movie was called X. It takes place in sort of like the 60s slash 70s ish, probably more 70s, when like Deep Throat was the big thing and porn was like a new novelty. And a ragtag group of performers and filmmakers have rented out a Texas farmhouse to shoot a pornography called The Farmer's Daughters. And one of the women in the group, the ragtag group, is named Maxine. And anyway, they go to this farmhouse, and it quickly turns into what I was delighted to learn is called a Psycho Biddy film. Not Psycho Billy, Psycho Biddy, which is basically a crazy old woman horror subgenre. And in this Psycho Biddy film, the wife of the farmer they are renting the property from to shoot their porno, a very disturbing old woman named Pearl, is just she's a murder monster. She's a complete maniac. And of course, the movie ends with Maxine surviving. Maxine is what is referred to as the final girl. And there's a big reveal about why Maxine, chances are she got to be the final girl, that I won't ruin for you. The second movie in the trilogy is called Pearl, which is weirdly where I started, and a lot of people kind of became aware of this trilogy
Yeah, I
with
think
Pearl.
this is the one I've heard of.
Yeah, Pearl is about that old farmer's wife in her youth. Because one of the themes of X was the farmer's wife was just openly, vociferously, and pathologically mournful of having lost her youthful beauty and vigor and appeal she once had to men. So she would literally just talk about how I'm tired of not getting anything I want. Once upon a time, a man would do anything for me, etc., etc. And a sort of thing you would notice in passing is that Pearl in her youth looked a lot like Maxine. And they are the same actress. Pearl, elderly Pearl, is just Mia Goth in old person makeup, and Maxine is just Mia Goth. And
Oh, even in the
when
movie where they're like the
yeah,
characters meet?
yep,
Huh.
yep, it is the same actress, Mia Goth. And in the movie Pearl, which came out second, it's about how Pearl basically became the way she is. And it's it's honestly I like it better than X personally, and it's just about Pearl kind of marrying a boy that she wasn't really into because the war was happening, like the Great War was happening, and that was kind of what you did. You know, your first boyfriend was going off to fight in the trenches, and so you married him. And she married this guy, and he went on his way. And she is supposed to sit there and wait for him, but she has no intention of waiting for him. She has these big plans to make it big in show business and leave her little pissant one horse town in Texas. And she will do whatever she thinks is necessary to get that. Of course, going into Pearl, you will have seen X, so you know she doesn't make it out. But it's a hell of a ride getting there. And yeah, the third movie, which is either in production or post production right now, is called Maxine with three X's. So it is about the final girl who survived X, who again is Mia Goth once again. So I'm excited for Maxine. I want to see Maxine.
Um, cool. That sounds. I should
Yeah,
check those out.
yeah. If you
Are
like gore flicks and psycho bitty
I
stuff, and
don't.
I
you
don't.
you would
But they still sound interesting.
yeah. It's very interesting and sort of like, or as a person who is like 45, my youth is well behind me. I am not elderly yet, obviously, but you know, it's a thing I think about. Like, I have had what I feel is probably my midlife crisis, which was very soft because I've spent my life doing what I want to do. So my midlife crisis was me downloading Duolingo and getting serious about learning Japanese. That was my midlife crisis because I didn't want to die, you know, monolingual. I think that's gross. I don't want to do that. And it's an easy thing to fix, so why aren't I fixing? I'm happy in my marriage. I'm happy in my career. I'm happy with where I live. I have friends I love. I have a business that feels rewarding. I'm drawing my dumb little comic. That was the one thing my brain came up with to not be happy about. Like, why aren't you learning another language? So that's what I'm doing. But as a person who is like middle age and kind of understands I am not immortal and kind of understands that the clock is ticking and has been ticking even back when I couldn't hear it, it hits a little different. X hits a little different. I have never been one of those people who like, oh God, I have lost my beauty and now men don't look at me. My life is worthless, which is it's that's clearly what Pearl is. So, but I do know women like that, and yeah, it's I have had that thought where it's like, what are you gonna do when you turn 50? And now I know, and it's not good.
Murder?
It's not good. It's not good what they do when they turn 50. These days, just lots of surgery, lots and lots of surgery.
um,
I mean, teenagers are doing that too.
Oh, that's so depressing.
Oh
yeah.
no, like almost all of there's like trends of almost all of the skin treatments and surgeries that are considered turning what's it called that are meant to like de-age you, quote unquote, even though that's not what they do.
Hmm.
There's a trend of much younger people hopping on that to get ahead of it, and it's like, one, it doesn't even de-age you. Two, that's not
That's
even how it works. If
yeah,
it
that's
did
really
work.
not how it works. That's really not how it works. And I have to admit, I am mostly speaking of like middle class women, like normal women here when I say this, because quite frankly, I've seen photographs of like people whose, their body and their face are their job, so they pay a lot of money to maintain it. There are some 70-year-olds out there, and you're just like, holy shit. They still look amazing. But for normies like us, that's probably not going to be in the cards. And you're going to get more moles, and you're going to get more wrinkles, and you're going to get more grays, and that's just kind of how it's going to
I have
be. And
earned
some
every single
people,
goddamn one.
yeah, some people have take that well, and they're like, oh, look at me. And some people, it's kind of the end of their life.
The only thing I'm mad at my grays for is one, there's not enough of them. And two, when I dyed my hair green, the grays got teal.
That's interesting.
Well, because the dye kit I used, it's for brunettes specifically. So it lightens, it lifts your browns to kind of a slightly yellowy color, and then it adds the green. So the green is expected to be put on a yellowy color. But my silver hairs are not yellow, they're silver. So they just got pure ass teal green on them.
Yeah. Also, Bird Wizard, a thing that does go into you mentioning Ernie Hudson, yeah, a thing that does go into my math is I do have dark skin, and people with dark skin do tend to hold up a slightly better than people who do not have dark skin. And admittedly, it was in a not particularly well lit room, but I've literally been mistaken for 25. So maybe maybe it's not hitting me quite as hard.
Almost all my coworkers are like very young college students, and they keep assuming I am one of them, and I have to remind them, like, no, I'm like 10 years older than all of you.
Yeah.
It's because we don't go outside, Amanda.
For me, it's mostly because I'm fat.
That too.
Well,
one of the things that's an interesting trade-off as you get older is most people as they age, they put on a little weight. Lord knows I have. But when you put on the weight, it smooths out some of the little micro wrinkles you might otherwise have, so you do look a little more youthful.
There, I've drawn a cute lady. Speaking of fat, I drew a cute lady.
I recently watched Bill and Ted Face the Music. And there were all of those jokes about Keanu Reeves not aging. And it turns out all of the aging is hidden by his facial hair.
You're also short. What has that got to do with it?
People assume that you're a baby because you're short. But yeah, so because Bill and Ted Face the Music was the first time I had seen Keanu Reeves clean shaven in a while. And it was like, oh, he's very jowly underneath that beard.
Yep. These things happen. It'll happen to you, to quote Grandpa Simpson. It'll happen to you.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
I stretched and it was a mistake.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I'm going to check something real quick.
Daryl thinks your lady is cute, Amanda.
Bless. I think she's cute, too. I haven't been sitting and drawing cute ladies as much as I used to. There's just too many other things I have to draw, but now. People do assume you're a baby because you're short.
I've been drawing.
But no, that's not fair, because these kids are, like, taller than me. They're not baby. Like, the logic doesn't logic.
No, that's what they're like. They're like, you're shorter than me, so you must be younger than me.
But that makes no sense.
Yep.
That makes no sense. And I'm not that short.
It's not logical.
I'm not that short anyway.
Yes, you are.
5'2" is not that short.
It's shorter than the average. It's shorter than the average woman on Earth, and that is including all the malnutrition countries. So it's pretty short.
I refuse to accept this.
It's including all the countries where women start having babies at like 14. So they never get above.
No, I've always been the bigger sister. I've always been the big sister. Do you know literally all of my siblings are taller than me?
I'm not surprised.
Same.
And you'll get no sympathy from me because I'm shorter than both my parents.
3 of them are sisters. It's not fair.
I'm so frustrated that I'm the shortest one in my family.
Are you the
Yeah, that's
oldest? I think you are, right?
No, I'm the oldest assigned female at birth
Oh,
member of the
okay.
family.
mhm. Yeah.
I have an older brother. It's older brother, me, and then I have two younger siblings that are twins.
And
The other thing that
sometimes
makes
genes
Zoomers
just
think
do
you're one of
funny
them is
things.
having full eyebrows. Like if you never overplucked, you don't have millennial. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I do have fluffies. I do have fluffs.
yeah. I never got into the eyebrow plucking thing, so my eyebrows are still pretty thick
I
to the
do
point where
trim them with this, but that's just the length of the individual hairs because they are quite long, but they're still
yeah,
pretty
plucking and
fluffy.
trimming are totally different. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm also not a huge fan of the outside. So on top of having dark skin, that is why I am 45 and being mistaken for 20 years younger.
I
So
am looking forward to going to the beach, though.
Um, it's also spiked that you have a mohawk, and people think of that as a young person's hairstyle.
and I have no grays basically on my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, that helps a lot. That helps a lot. I'm it's like I've never put a lot of stock in my
I hate
appearance.
that
It's
you're
never
you're
been
emphasizing on your head made me paint like a mental picture.
It's exactly what you think.
I'm putting you in the dumpster.
Put me in the Yeah, it's exactly what you think.
Get in there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm using one of those, the cannonball stuffers. I'm using
Boop,
that to
boop,
make you
boop,
fit in the
boop.
dumpster.
Like the chimney sweep kind of thing.
Don't don't
You
don't
just
get in
tamp the
there.
cannon, and I'm like a raccoon. I'm just going clawing
Basically,
at it.
I'm stealing your husband for the weekend.
Ooh, no, yeah. Matt is joining Amanda in Toronto for TCAF. I should know.
If you play your cards right, you'll get him back.
If maybe you can keep him.
Bullshit. You would be distraught. You'd be in the
Uh,
streets crying if
I
I
would
kidnapped your
actually,
husband.
I would actually murder you. Correct.
I know.
I would murder you. I understand all those Hollywood films where like the man is on the phone with someone who has kidnapped his family and he just says super quietly in a way where it's like, oh, he means it. He just goes, I'm gonna kill you all. Like I'm actually like you probably think I'm trying to be tough right now, but I'm just informing you of a decision I've made. The same way I'm going to have a bath bomb tonight and I'm having fish for dinner, I'm going to murder you. Like
See,
that's how I
I
feel.
know this, and this is why me and multiple friends, when we talk about what we can do to get you to come out to dinner with us, is at the top of our list is kidnap your husband.
Kidnap
And
my
it
husband.
could we could do it so easily. We could lure him out. We just have to be nice to him, and he'll hang out with us. He's done it
Yeah,
before.
no one's nice to him. That's true.
We'll just invite him out for a good time, and then be like, Spike, if you want him back.
Well, I did suggest the safari park, but quite frankly, with the state of your car, maybe the zoo would be a better bet.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
it's
trust my
warm
car.
now.
I don't trust my car in a safari park. Not right
Yeah,
now. Not till I figure out this coolant bullshit, or I
yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking toss the thing.
And I don't want to be abandoned in Wisconsin. That's how horror movies start.
Again, if you help me pay for like
Yeah.
travel, we can rent a car.
Hmm.
You either horror movies start with either you're abandoned in the Midwest or you're abandoned in Germany.
Hey Matt, we found a new RPG book.
Yeah. You just
Well,
put like,
no, Matt. Here's the thing. Listeners. Hang out with Matt for fun more than I hang out with Spike.
yeah,
It would be
I'm very
extremely
busy.
easy.
I'm literally the executive producer on animation and run a fucking comic company. I get very little time to myself.
He, I'm leaning in close so Spike can hear every word. When I first got to Chicago, he came to
Oh,
my birthday sushi, and Spike didn't.
Dang hot pot.
Spike,
A year later, we
I,
did Hot Pot.
Yeah.
Spike, an interview with Jack Dorsey just dropped about him leaving Blue Sky,
I linked it
and
already, and in it he talks about how he was upset that they instituted blocking measures.
yes,
He is a
I was
fucking
like,
idiot.
yeah,
He's a fucking imbecile. He's a fucking dimwit.
he's an imbecile with an eating disorder.
Okay, that's news.
Hey Amanda, did you manage to get to?
You,
No, I
oh,
didn't go to the
right,
rat
you
hole.
didn't read that article where he talks about how he only has 400 calories a day because he's min-maxed eating like so efficiently.
That is not true. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm a I used to be a weightlifter, like pretty fucking seriously. I know
Yeah,
what
that's what I'm
400
saying.
calories is like. You would die. You would die.
He that's
You would die.
that's why he say he has an eating disorder. Like
He's lying.
uh
He's lying.
I mean, it could be true, and he just is really sick.
No, a toddler wouldn't survive on
You
400
you
calories
can
a day.
for a period of time, especially if you're
How
taking.
well, he didn't say, granted, he didn't say how long he's been eating 400 calories, but if he's pretending this is his day to day and he's not like cutting for Mr. Olympia, he's a liar.
Bird Wizard
400
said, "Love."
calories is like you couldn't have a fucking palm sized piece of beef for 400 calories.
Bird Wizard said, "Love crazy billionaires poisoning themselves in speed runs."
Yeah.
Yeah, Net Fisher says, "I guarantee he's not counting some sort of drink. They
Yeah.
never count their drinks, where like a shocking amount of calories, frankly,
Oh,
comes
for
from."
sure, for sure. Like I remember in the days of God, this feels so long ago when that movie Super Size Me came out, and they would talk about
That
if you
movie
just
was
got a
such
drink
bullshit.
at McDonald's, that was like 800 calories because if you got like the super size Coke, that was 800 calories.
That
But yeah,
movie was
he's a
complete
liar. There's
bullshit.
no way he is functional
okay,
and
so
consistent
I
on 400
found
calories.
the exact quote.
Okay.
He fasts for 3 days and then he eats a shit ton.
Okay, that's
And
different.
then he fasts for 3 days again. So he only eats every 4 days.
Okay, so he does intermittent fasting. That's different. Yeah.
But he's still like it's still an eating disorder. Like it's definitely a control thing, the way he talks about it. Like,
I think he has a lot of disorders.
yes.
I don't like him. He's such a fucking, I hate him. Like, I don't even want to call him a pig because pigs are intelligent and affectionate. You know, it's like I
Yeah.
regret calling him a pig on Blue Sky because of that. I can't call him anything because it's like every animal, the lowest animal I could think of, lampreys, pond scum, fucking like zooplankton. They all have a place on Earth. I don't think Jack does. I think he's a shitty human being, just a genuinely shitty human being. Like and the worst part about it is he has this whole hippy dippy bullshit, and it's like it's so clear he doesn't care about other people, and yet he insists on presenting himself in this hippy dippy way. It's so clear he doesn't give a shit about anyone, though.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. In my opinion.
But yeah, he basically explains his eating disorder and then says most people just can't handle this. They would get sick,
Correct.
and it's
Correct.
like, yeah, because what you're doing is unhealthy, sir. Like,
Most people also can't handle being doused in kerosene and set on fire. That doesn't mean you're better if you do it.
Most people cry when you smash their hand with a hammer, but not me. I'm built different.
It's just so fucking
I just
textual, the superiority
I
complex.
just think of there's a bit in Always Sunny where they're playing a game and Dennis has his hand nailed to the wall and doesn't react.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm just thinking of that with Jack Dorsey. He's like, it's
He's
like
just
I
such
can
an
handle my hand
asshole.
being nailed to the wall. It's like
Like
that's not a good thing.
I just the thing that has always stuck with me that I think is kind of like his defining feature is he was against blocking anyone on Twitter who was like an overt bad actor, just a person actively spreading lies and bullshit and hurting people. He was against blocking them until they personally harassed him, and then suddenly he was okay with blocking them. Like he did not block Alex Jones until Alex Jones literally confronted him in person and ran after him in public yelling. Then suddenly, literally the next day, within 24 hours, Alex Jones was blocked. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, so things aren't real until they happen to you. Got you. It's just, he's like that guy. He's that fucking guy. like I make fun of Elon Musk and shit, but I have a special place in my heart for Jack because, quite frankly, I think people let him off too light.
I think that people don't pay attention to him because he just does social media. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
chips in his
Like he's
brain. Yeah,
a weirdo,
maybe.
but like he's
Yeah.
not really an exceptional weirdo if I'm being honest.
I hate him.
He's not
Fucking
like
hate him.
he doesn't excel at being a weirdo. He's a weirdo in the way like a good handful of dudes in tech are.
Like, I think Mark Zuckerberg gets it too heavy, and I think Jack gets it too light. Those are my opinions.
No,
Um,
I think that's fair. But again,
Yeah. Yeah.
he needs to be weirder if he wants to
I
get more shit.
I don't know because has Jack been complicit in the genocide?
Okay, good point. When I say he gets it too heavy, what I mean is like I think way too many criticisms on Mark Zuckerberg focus on the fact he is a slightly strange looking man. There is way more to talk about with regards to Mark
Yeah.
Zuckerberg than the fact he is like we all agree he is mildly strange looking, not in a way that would make you stop and stare in the street. He just has a slightly alien way about the shape of his head and the way he looks at you. Okay, cool. Can we talk about the real problems now? But all anyone
Yeah,
ever
can
wants to
we
talk
talk
about is
about how he was complicit in genocide? Like
yeah,
that's a real issue.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't like it when like these I think it makes them easier to dismiss when people are like, haha, Trump's fat. It's like,
yeah.
okay,
Because
can we
that's
talk about the
also
shit that
because when
matters
people are
now?
doing haha, because
But
when you're doing haha Trump's fat, you're basically making fun of all fat people.
Annette
Yeah,
Fisher
Um,
points out that he's I guess in terms of Jack Dorsey, he's a rich fascist though, which is weird. Fascism isn't considered weird. I'm not saying like, here, I'm saying he is not weird enough to stand out from his peers.
yeah.
Unfortunately, they are often all rich
Terrible
yeah,
fascists. So
fucking
it's
they're
like,
fascists.
it's not saying that being a
yeah.
fascist isn't weird.
I
It's
think
like
the
he
thing that
doesn't do enough
especially
to stand out from his peers and therefore be talked
Like
about
if
more
he
than
did more
them.
interviews about his weird diet,
like
and tried to launch a diet company, then people would maybe talk about him being weird more.
the
Um,
uh, like it's like I think the thing that bugs me most about Jack and why I seem to have so much venom for him in specific is at least the other tech bros don't pretend what they're doing is a form of enlightenment. Like this, he fucking does ayahuasca
oh,
and goes
Spike, I
into the
think
Oh, a lot
desert.
you're
of them do that.
yeah,
Like
I
who?
think a lot of them do.
Like who?
It's almost like a cliche.
Yeah, like
Like
Steve
who?
Jobs thought that he was doing a form of enlightenment with Apple. Like there was
Really?
it's
Oh yeah.
yeah,
How
like
so?
I've been listening to a lot of Behind the Bastards and thinking
Ah,
that their bullshit is a form of enlightenment that makes them better than everyone else is like check number one,
Yeah.
box number one for being a tech bro.
maybe
Like
it's the hippie aesthetics then that bug me more than anything.
again, Steve Jobs didn't shower because he didn't believe he had body odor because he only ate
Oh yeah.
fruit.
Yeah,
Like,
I know that about Steve Jobs. I'm talking about like, but like Steve
but I'm
Jobs has
saying
never.
he just hasn't gotten as
But
weird as other
but
guys.
it also depends on
Is
what
our point.
side of the tech bro tracks you're on. One side is like we're biohacking, but we're wearing polo shirts and khakis. The other half is we're biohacking and we're hippies, like, but we're
Yeah,
not really.
We decided we don't want to shower.
So like
yeah.
there again, that's again, I have a stereotype of tech bros, and what you have described does comfortably fall in with a lot of people.
Yeah, they buy
Yeah.
their own
It is
bullshit so
also
hard, Bird Wizard.
yeah. Yeah, he's weird, but I feel like I hear shit like this from all these rich assholes.
Oh
Like
yeah, no matter what the current grift is, there's always like a demographic of them that it's not about like they got to make it like about like we're making the future a better place, whether it's like crypto dorks or AI dorks. Like they think like they're ushering in like
They
some
think
kind
they're
of
better and they think they're the future, but they don't think that they are also a bastion of peace and love.
yeah.
Like all these
basically.
crypto bros have fucking talked. God, I don't know if I said this to you or someone else in the recent past, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot about. Like there was a time when you heard about new tech and you were like excited because you're like, oh cool, what they come up with. Because what they told you about was something neat and useful. And you were just like, wow, that's cool. And like learning about new technology that was about to hit the market was like going to a Nintendo Direct. It's like, oh, what cool, exciting, toy have the wizards come up with now? And now it just seems like endless fucking grifts. It's all fucking scams, all of it. When someone goes, "Yeah, I got some tech for you now," it's not like a cool thing that'll make your life better. It's someone trying to figure out how to separate you from your money and leave you worse off for it. It's just fucking weird. That evolution sucks. Tech used to be fun the way like the internet used to be fun, you know?
I mean, the more I learn about tech back then, no, not really.
I'm talking from a consumer side.
I
Trust me,
mean,
tech used to be more fun from the consumer side.
I mean,
No, it did. It did.
okay. The more I learn about shit, the less I can see that.
You have to imagine like when I was a kid and adults, well-meaning adults would try and have conversations with me and they'd say things like, "One day when you're grown up, all these video games that you just won't find them interesting. No one will have to tell you to stop playing them. You'll just stop playing them because there'll be so much more interesting things to do." And I would think to myself, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard because every time a new video game comes out, it's better than the last one. It looks better, the play is more complicated, and it's more fun. The music is better. The last video game I had talked to me with words. Why would I ever get tired of watching something get better all the time?
Uh
And it's
huh.
true. I have yet to get tired of video games. And I mean, that is kind of what I'm talking about. Like from the consumer side, you would just like every year you'd get a new video game, and the new video game would be so many more like multiples better than the last video game you got, and you'd just be like, holy shit. Like you'd get SimCity and you'd play SimCity, and then you play SimCity 2000 and you'd just be like, what the fuck, because it was so much above and beyond SimCity. And then you'd buy a computer and it was a 486 and you're like, wow, this computer's great. And then you get a new computer and you'd be like, holy shit, because the computer was so much better than the last
We had
computer.
extremely
That's what I'm talking
different
about.
experiences.
I mean, I admittedly, I'm not trying to universalize my experience. I'm just saying, for me, there was a time when tech was fun.
I mean, tech's still pretty fun. I just guess it depends on
It's
what you're
still
into.
pretty fun,
It's still
but
pretty fun. It depends on what you're into. Again, I'm still into
mm,
I'm into mechanical keyboards and IEMs, and there's still really fun
yeah.
shit happening in those
Yeah, I'm
spaces.
not saying there is no fun.
And
It's just
also,
it's
there
the
was a
boom is off the
lot.
list.
Like even back then, there were shitty video games and so much shovelware.
Understand that, but it doesn't feel like the thing that I'm talking about is like these days it feels like everything is a scam, and it didn't feel that way back then.
Yeah, I guess.
And maybe that's my youth. I don't know, but
I'm
I
inclined
just
to say so because I have fond memories of video games and stuff that I have
mhm.
gone back to check out. And I'm like, oh my god, this is garbage. This is straight up garbage. Like, and it was a cash grab when it came out. No one put any care into it. I was just fond of it at the time.
And I mean, I owned the ET game, and I remember enjoying it. So
I'm trying real hard to like try to take myself out of it and not be like, well, I liked it when I was younger. Does that mean it was better? Frequently, I'm finding no.
yeah,
Yes, there's some things that did stand the test of time, but very frequently it's like, no, this was a scam to get my parents' money,
yeah,
and it worked.
suppose that could be the case. But like, I don't know. I think there is something qualitatively different about what's happening now. Like I'm not saying people were smarter in the 80s, but I can't picture NFTs happening back then and having the mass adoption they did.
Oh, I absolutely can. When I think about some of the scams and grifts that happened back then, they were only small because, like, they had to be.
Because there wasn't they couldn't spread through the internet. Like, that's why they were small.
There were so many individual little grifts all going up on simultaneously that you never like I'm learning about shit all the time about all these little schemes and grifts, and from everything from like collectibles to like Ponzi schemes and shit, and that stuff just doesn't happen now. It's just big ones. It's big ones that happen.
Like, I mean, there were Beanie Babies and there was Amway and stuff. I'm not trying to do nostalgia for an age that never existed, but there is a stink of desperation that I think comes from a level of despair, like widespread generational despair, that I think was not present in the 20th century on a lot of these scams. And again, you could say that's not my experience. I'm just sort of relating my experience.
Yeah.
Okay, that part I do agree with, because Amanda and I's generation is the first generation that is like, we are not expected to have a better quality of life than our parents.
Yeah.
I just know in my heart I will never be able to own a house. It'll just never happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
and
about.
The fact that you know that, Amanda, is endemic to our generation, and anyone younger than the generations younger than us, also they just assume that. So that despair is there.
As bad as it is for millennials, it's worse for Zoomers.
Yeah. And part of that is because of decisions made in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, just a lot of Reaganomics, deregulation, and just incredibly awful laws and tax cuts, and it just kind of, it feels like some people have internalized this idea that the only way they're ever going to prosper in a way that approaches their boomer parents and grandparents' level of sort of enjoyment is if they just fucking steal it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. And they seem to be like fully at peace with that. Like they just see no option. Like, what are they going to do? Go to college, get $170,000 in debt for a bachelor's degree that doesn't improve their chances?
I mean, that's the kind of shit that motivated the people to, create orphanages that resulted in baby murders and keep the baby corpses in their backyards. That desperation is litters history.
That wasn't generational. There weren't entire generations of women.
No, I didn't say it was.
Deciding that was okay, and that's what it feels like now. Because it's like there's always been rote poverty making people do terrible things, always, but the despair of no way out seems to have transcended like class lines now. It really seems to have.
No, that's fair.
In my opinion, in my uninformed, myopic, and anecdotal opinion.
See, conversations like this is why I don't want to do Geek Show anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I making you sad?
We've had this conversation a lot.
I'm sorry.
We have had this conversation, I think, almost every other Geek Show, Spike.
I'm stopping right now. I'm sorry.
No, don't bother. I'm taking a break. Let loose.
No, but I don't want to make people sad.
You're not making people sad. It's just me. I am a singular person.
You're a people.
Fair. But who cares? It's fine. I'm taking a break.
Sure.
I'm a sip from my knockoff Stanley cup that's covered in Abby Howard stickers.
I want a Stanley cup, but I feel like such a follower getting one.
That's why I got a knockoff one.
It's full of lead.
They are not full of lead. We've had this conversation too. It is a specific spot on them that has lead on it, and most thermal insulated cups and bottles have that. However, the problem is with the Stanley cups is they were supposed to seal it really good so you can't get to it like all the others do, and they did a bad job of it.
Today I learned.
Yeah.
So yeah, either way, Spike, you don't want a Stanley Cup.
They are overpriced, and I have a knockoff. It's fine. I just got it because it's big and it lets me drink 40 ounces of water.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I got a big water bottle that has the time of day on the side of it. The idea being that you fill up the whole water bottle, and by that time of day is how far in the water bottle you should have drunk.
See, I hated that thing. I had one too, and I hated it because if I didn't do that, I just felt bad. And it was, so I prefer the giant 40-ounce Stanley Cup knockoff because I just hold it like it's a coffee cup and I sip from it through the straw, and eventually it's all gone. And I'm like, oh, cool, I emptied it. No, the knockoffs are filled with lead. Here's the thing: almost even really good brands do have lead solder on them because you have to seal it. Like it's a double layered metal thing, and you do have to seal it somehow because what makes them keep your stuff cool or hot is the trapped air in the layers of metal. But you have to suck that air out, or you have to like seal it. No, it's not the air, it's a lack of air, sorry. But you have to like vacuum it out, and then you have to seal it with something, and it has to be soldered. Usually it's lead because it's just cheap and easy and fast, and you can do it quick. But again, it's not usually a problem because they will then usually put a cap on it or a different seal, so you can never get to it. It's a tiny amount. The problem is when they're made crappy and you can get to it. The end, sorry.
I learned a lot today.
The other day I watched the Fallout show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I watched the first 3 episodes.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it.
I'm going to stop streaming for a second and then come back because I think mine is frozen.
I hear you.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like my image on.
It's moving for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's been moving for me.
Oh, you mean you're drawing? Oh, what? Uh-oh, hello? Kel? Oh no, I know what happened. Not again! Oh no! Discord just forced an update on me! Again! I know y'all still hear me because y'all don't pick me up from Discord. Discord just forced an update on me. Give me a second.
If you still want to do the meeting, you gotta
Hey, I'm back. Tonight. I'm here. Hey, hi. We're live still.
Yeah.
So, do you want to know what just happened?
Yes.
We're still live. People have been able to hear me. Discord forced an update on me. It didn't even give me an option.
Oh. Well, that'll do it.
What the fuck?
That'll do it.
Anyway, we're back.
Do I have to start rebroadcasting or
no?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. Did you want to? You're still. What do you mean rebroadcasting? Your stream is still up.
It's still visible on YouTube and everything?
It's
still
right now, Amanda,
the stream,
because you left, it's not showing Spike's thing on the stream.
I know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a delay.
That's okay because it's 10 o'clock and... That's okay because it's 10 o'clock and Kel has informed me I have a little bit of yet more Iron Circus work to do and many miles to go before I sleep. So we should probably end Amanda's final stream for the foreseeable future here.
Bye, nerds.
Yeah.
No, we have to do it properly.
Why?
Everybody?
No.
Because everybody? Yes. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Say goodbye to Amanda.
No.
Kel and I will kind of figure out what to do. We will still be having Geek Show, even if Amanda is not here. We'll be shooting the shit, maybe having some guests. and my screen will be taking up the entire screen. So you'll be
No,
seeing.
no, we talked about this, Spike. You're gonna show
Oh,
my screen too. Uh,
okay, okay. We will show Kel's screen in place of what where Amanda's screen would be. So that's how we'll do it from now on. Everybody, hi, goodbye. I'm Spike. You can find Iron Circus comics at ironcircus.com. The comic you have been watching me slowly, laboriously, and inefficiently draw is called Blicata. It's about uh Keebler elves and communism, I guess. You can read it at blicada.com. BLIKADA.com. HTTP colon slash slash, not HTTPS, because it's just a forwarding link to a Pillow Fort page. Yeah, we do a cartoon. It is called Lackadaisy. You should watch it. It's on YouTube. It's free. You have no excuse. Lackadaisy is entirely fan funded and independent animation. We think we are ground flooring something crazy important here, folks. So your support is very much appreciated. We still have some 3 of Club's pins left in the Iron Circus store on ironcircus.com. And the Lackadaisy store is always available with shirts and hoodies and plushies and all kinds of cool stuff. So remember to like and follow Iron Circus Comics on YouTube and hit the little bell so you get a notice every time we start streaming.
I'm Kel. I also stream at twitch.tv/Kel McDonald. I am this Sunday. I'm going to play Baldur's Gate. If you would like to watch my beautiful murder tiefling, um, do some cool murders. And
Not
I
uncool
also make
murders. Good.
comics about gay werewolves in the future that you can read at kelmcdonald.com. And I hate social media. I think it's a cesspit. And but I do have social medias. They're all linked on my website. Uh, yeah, follow me on all the places,
All of
and come
them.
watch me play Baldur's Gate on Sunday.
I'm Amanda. Temporarily, my website's in the description. Catch it while you can. amandalafrenas.com. It's still a hub site because I still haven't had time to fix up my portfolio. That's where you're going to find my shit. That's it. Good
You
night.
everybody, y'all are the best. Goodbye, Amanda.
I'm not leaving the world.
I'm prompting the audience.
Ah!